Let's get straight to Ron in the Weather Lab with what you need to know.
Thanks very much, Laura. You know, as of Wednesday this past week, the KAMC Weather Lab called a winter storm watch. We call winter storm watch on our own. Then we wait for the National Weather Service to validate and validate. They've validated it. And it's a winter storm warning now that's in effect tonight all the way into Monday morning. The entire South Plains, all of this, everybody in this region. And what does this winter storm warning mean? Well, the big story is going to be the temperature. Really, it is. I mean, because we're talking about temperatures near single digits. We're talking about wind chill at, say, 10, 20 below zero. So we're talking about not dangerous type of wind chill that can not only hurt you as a human being, but hurt your pets and anything else that's going to be out there. So please, definitely understand the seriousness of just how cold this weather event's going to be. The other will be, and we'll go ahead to this, and Lance is going to talk about this more in just a minute, but we're going to see snow accumulated across the South Plains. Now, this is a dry snow event, and we'll have more discussion on that in a minute. What does that mean? It means instead of the big old wet flakes that give us a lot of water, this is very dry, and it's so icy that it can create the most icy road conditions we can have. This is not the kind of snow event that we really can just drive through at a decent speed. This is the kind of snow event that you can't see a lot of what it's doing to the roadways because it's like black ice. So the bottom line is, you don't need to get out tomorrow at all. Hopefully you've gotten out today and picked up all your groceries or whatever else you need. But if you do have to get out tomorrow, again, you need to slow down. And when I mean slow down, I don't mean 5 miles below the speed limit. I mean really slow down. And you don't need to be trying to get darting in and out of traffic. You know better than that. We must be safe with ourselves, and we must be safe for our first responders. Well, again, during the day today, Lance Blocker has been in the Weather Lab taking a look at this. We have to look at what's happening to see how the forecast models are validating. Well, from what I'm seeing, that's a trough moving, and we've got an upper level trough that's going to produce the snow for us. It's doing its thing in New Mexico and Arizona. Lance, as you've looked at the forecast models today, what you see on radar right now, tell me, how's that stacking up with how the forecast models are initiating?
Well, Ron, it's done very well. You know, the last few days we've been watching this system as the models progressed it from the west, actually from the northern Pacific, all the way into the Four Corners region. We've been keeping an eye on that. They have been somewhat inconsistent at times, but really over the last 6 hours, they've begun to come together. But this is a time period now that we have that agreement, we start to shift from watching the models to seeing how it's validating. And as you pointed out there, with that upper level load now digging into the Four Corners region, producing rain and snow in northern Arizona, northern New Mexico, well, it's beginning to really come together nicely. So we're beginning to gain even more confidence in the forecast for what we have across the region. That is the reason the National Weather Service did upgrade our winter storm watch to a winter storm warning. So we'll continue to monitor these trends, but I'll tell you, Ron, the HRRR right now, that's the model to go with. That's the one that I have the most confidence in. It's really starting to validate very well. I know you'll show it to us here in just a moment.
Yeah, Lance, when I walked in a few minutes ago, you were talking about that's the model, and Lance went through some of the initiation of the model, and it looks pretty good, so we're going to give that to you in a minute. Now, this is a little closer look, and pinpoint Doppler 1 radar scan. Some of this is more than likely not real snow returns on radar, but I'm very confident that what's back to the west of us is our first little lift in the atmosphere of some light snow showers that are getting closer to, say, places like Roswell, New Mexico. You're like, big deal. Well, yeah, the big deal is that this is going to be spreading overnight. So we don't see any snow on the radar, but sometimes in these events, too, there could be little tiny areas of even freezing drizzle or snow. So let's see what's going on outside. And I left the last for the best, or the best for the last, so he can be cold. Jacob, I mean, I wanted to see, can you handle it out there?
Oh yeah, Ron. Yeah, it's not too bad right now. And if you think what's bad outside right now, just wait for what's to come as we head into tomorrow and Monday morning. Now, you were talking about radar. We're seeing a few snow showers show up, but probably not seeing a lot of that make it to the ground. Yesterday, it didn't look like we had anything at all on radar, but we picked up a pretty good dusting here in the city of Lubbock. Now, as we take a look at the roads here, I'm going to step out of the frame for you. What you're able to see, the roads look pretty good right now. We're not seeing much in the way of travel impacts. However, that is going to change once that snowfall begins to move in late overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. As you mentioned before, it's going to be very icy. We're going to see those slick spots really begin to pop up across the area. And it's not just the bridges and overpasses. We're talking about the city streets here. The city of Lubbock and TxDOT always do a phenomenal job with keeping up with those traffic conditions across the area and trying to keep our roadways as safe as possible for the folks at home. But again, with this type of system, we're going to see that light, fine snow move into the area. It's going to create slick spots. And Ron, with temperatures the coldest they've been in nearly 40 to 50 years, we're going to be seeing these impacts for quite some time. From South University here and 74th Street, we're going to send it back to you in the studio where it is a little warmer.
Yeah, it is for sure. And I'm afraid Jacob just aged me because I remember that. Don't be laughing over them. I saw you, Lance. 40 years. Yeah, you have to go back 40 years, and I remember those periods of time. We had the most extended temperatures below freezing in climate history back in those periods of time. We had the major snow event of 1982-83. This is, you have to go back 40 years to have this kind of snow event. Now, the 82-83 event had snow drifts up to 3 feet high of wet snow. This is going to be dry snow. That's what we're seeing on the HRRR forecast model that Lance was talking about a few minutes ago. So we'll give you just a little tease of it. Look what happens right here. This is a light band. Lance feels like most of the snow more than likely won't reach to the ground, but it is certainly a possibility. We're going to show you more of this forecast model and a complete 7-day forecast and the winter storm warning conditions here in just a couple of minutes. Back to you, Laura.